Let's get start demo first of .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app with Firebase DB. So here I build the application which will return all the data from that Firebase DB and bind to in our application. Like this is a window application and this is the web application and this is Android application. So one shared component will can achieve all that platform, right? So that we will achieve in here. And before I start, I'm especially recommend you have to go to my channel which is .NET Real World Example and especially this session. So this is that session previously we have just covered, like how we can actually connect with our Firebase real-time DB in our .NET MAUI as well. So you have to go to first this session so that you can get idea, okay, how how we can create a uh, Firebase DB and how we can interact with our .NET MAUI. And once it's done, then you have to go to this session. And also one more thing I especially recommend, because this I'm taking the same session like .NET MAUI hybrid Blazor app, right? So you have to go to this hybrid search, right? Go to that hybrid search in my channel and you will get that. See, there's a many session, actually complete series we have that .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. And this one actually I will taking this guy. So this one actually will same example I will take in to continue, because I already covered like how we can create a .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app and how we can use the shareable component, right, with the in-memory database. But here we will use that Firebase DB for that all that platform like Android app, iOS app, and web app, and also window app, right? So let's get started. So I have, this is same example, right, which we have covered in the last session. So you can go to that session and you will get that repository as well in my GitHub link. So let me open this repository. Once you open, click on the solution explorer. Now see, you are able to see the three project over here. One is that Blazor hybrid app, which will have that all that .NET MAUI and stuff, like for example Android app, window app, iOS, Mac OS, so all that platform which have content over here. And there's another library which is a Blazor web application. So web application, by a web application also consume this same Razor component, shareable component. So one shareable component I will create it over here, and that will can consume all that platform like web, Android app. So everything actually going to details in my that session which I recommend. So go to that and then proceed over here. So what you need to do first for this connectivity of Firebase DB, so you have to just create first your Firebase DB in our Firebase console. So I already just created this real-time database over here in the Firebase. So if you don't know how we can create it, so definitely you can go to my that session, the MAUI integration with Firebase DB. So you will get that how we can create a project and how we can create a real-time DB. So once you created that one, you have to record one package. So that package I have to store in this shared library. So right click on that shared library, click on that NuGet package. This is my NuGet package, and in this NuGet package I'm looking for one package which will interact the Firebase DB within our .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. So this is that package, like, and this is a Firebase database.net, and simply install this guy, apply, accept. Once done, go to the solution, and here I will just create a one component, a shareable component that I can use all that platform, right? So let me quickly create a one component over here. So this time I will create a hotel component so that will manage the hotel. So create a hotel folder over here. So this is hotel folder, and inside this hotel folder I will create a one component that will return or that will bind all that list from that Firebase DB. So that name would be, so I just make it name hotel list, this component. So once your component has ready, now we are start to implementation over here. So first I just set it the route over here. What is that route? So route would be over here, hotel list. This is my route name, and then we have to create one method which will actually return the data from that Firebase DB, right? So that I will use in this code block. But before that, I have to record that client which will interact in our Firebase DB. So first I'll just import that that client. So inject, and then the name of that Firebase Firebase client, and then we have to bring that namespace. So this is my main namespace which is coming from Firebase database, right? And also we have to make it that alias name. So this is my alias name. Okay, so fc and save it. Now we are good to go to start over here. So first what I will do, simply I will just create a one method public, or I think we can create a private as well because we have to use inside this here. So I'll just use it private async task. So I just make it the name private task and then load async method over here. And here I have to just use this client, right? So let me quickly use this client, Firebase client dot, I have to use the child method. And in the child method, what is that? Your collection, right? So that collection you have to uh, specify over here. So what is my collection name? My collection name is a hotel. So I will specify over here as a hotel. And after that, in this hotel, like as use that now that extension method as observable. And in this as observable, I just specify what is that model actually we want to return. So I have to return this model. So if you go back to Firebase console database, so this is my model, right? So description, image, name, and image URL description, right? So this model I have to just create it. So let me quickly create that model over here. So right click on that project and create a model. So create a model folder over here, and inside this model create a model, make it name is hotel and make it as public. And here let me create some property over here which we required, and it is would be as id, it should be the integer. Now name, and then description. So description and image URL, so those are property actually we required. So we can create as a model property. So this is my model property. And now go back to your razor component. Okay, so add over here that entity. So hotel actually it is coming from this library, right? So let me quickly add this library in our razor component, import dot globally, right? So that we can use it easily. So using this guy and adding this library namespace over here, now we are good to get that entity over here. So once I get, right, so after that what I need to do, I have to subscribe over here. So let me quickly subscribe. And in this subscribe, I have to just using the lambda expression to get the data. So like this way actually we can get the data and close that. Now this item has a value, right? So first I have to just check, okay, if that item should not be as a null, right? So item dot object. So this is actually we are getting the data inside. See, once you mouse over, you will get that Firebase object return this hotel, right? So first let me check if it is not null, then we have to get the data and we can just adding in our as a list. So we have to record one list where I have to just add it over here. So let me quickly create a one list over here. So I have to just create a one list. So let me quickly over here as a temporary list, I have to just create it. So let me create a list. So this is my list, right? And in this list what I will do, using that list dot add, and then whatever this object, right? So this is my object, I simply add it to inside that, right? And simply that is fine. So see, this object actually returning the data, but it will return only this no description, image, URL, and name. But in this hotel object I have a id as well, right? So that id in further session actually we required insert, update, delete as well, right? So for this we required that id, so that id also we have to bind over here so that I can use in further. So for that what I need to do, simply I have to just use that item dot c. This is that item dot object, right? So let me use that item dot object dot id, right? Because this is the id, and in this id what we will assign over here, I will assign see, this is id, actually this hotel id, right, is a hotel object. So this id what I will assign, I will assign this key, right? So this is a main key, right? So this is a key. Inside this key we have that object, so that key is our primary id. So that I have to just trying to add over here. So how we can get, I will get from this item dot key. So I will get that value from here. So this is one, right? And another one I will just assign that image url. As of now I will just use a common image url, but yeah, for that real world example you can just get for your image URI and you can assign to over here. So what I will do, I simply use that image and image URI to like that. So see, this is that one static image URL which I just assigned to this object. And finally this item I have to just update it and then adding over there list id, list object, right? So this will get, and all that list will be added over here. So once I this add the list, what I need to do, I have to use this list in our binding over here. So there is a many way to use to bind. Like normally you can use that table design. So whatever list you can just design over here, but I will use over here as a quick grid, which I have to use in my previous session for this blog list. So same concept I will use over here. I will use that quick grid, right? So let me just copy the design over here. So let me quickly copy the design. So this is my design. So I'm not going to again to details the design that I already covered. So what we have here, see, simply I just use that hotel list, right? And if it is not, if it is null, so it should be loading. If it is not, so then that hotel list should be allowed to to bind that the quick grid. And this quick grid have that some template like image URL which will bind. And also, so as of now we don't require this guy, so let me remove this. So this is that another concept of quick grid, so I don't require that. So I'll just simply remove. And comment section also we have to remove. Also we have to remove this guy and this guy. Okay, so that is done, right? And also see, this is a add and delete functionality, right? So that we will achieve in upcoming session. In this session only just covered to bind the data. So see, this is simple, right? So as of we using the template column, we bind that image URL as well as using that template for that other one like name and description also be a bind over here. And then finally we have that action, and action has that button all, right? So these are common things. And also we have used this message, so that if I click temporary, I just click add edit button, so whatever message I want to print I can just simply print over here, right? So this will be adding over here. So let me quickly add some property over here which I missing. So first I'll just add that message one, right? Let me add this message which I will just refer for this design. So this is the message. And another one is I will use to binding the data. So how we can bind? So for bind this quick grid, I have to record that iqueryable list, right? So I just make it iqueryable, whatever iqueryable. So I will make it iqueryable list of that hotel and use this hotel list over here. And then this hotel list, actually we have to assign this list, right? So how we can assign? It's simple. For example, simply I can just use this hotel list, make it that hotel list, copy over here and go down, and just simply list dot as queryable. So use that as queryable and it will convert to queryable, right? So see, like this way, actually whatever the list added we just assign to over here, and we can use this hotel list in our design. So where is my design? So see, this quick grid item required that iQueryable list, so that I make it iQueryable and assign to over here. And also there is a concept of pagination. So let me quickly add that pagination property, which is inbuilt of that quick grid. So I already covered, I'm not going to details. So see, this is just create a pagination, so that also is done. Now these two things actually pending. So this also very required a one namespace. So this is that namespace I required for this SVG icon. So let me quickly bring that namespace. Also we have to do this edit and add and edit button, right? So the event actually we have to create. So let me quickly create a fake implementation of that add edit, but yeah, upcoming session will cover that. So here let me add it over here. So see, this two button is just created and that will be printed. Yeah, now we are good to go, right? So now we are good to get the data and bind die over here. And one more thing, actually we have to do that. So if I go to this method, so see, this is my method which I just created for to load the data, which is trying to load the data and add it in this hotel list. And then once I complete that subscribe, right? So what I need to do after subscribe, I have to just little bit, because see, this subscribe will take some time to load. So those waiting time I have to specify over here, but yeah, that's we can do something else. But yeah, as of now I just use the temporary solution to that. But yeah, we upcoming session we will remove this and we'll do some programmatically things, actually how much take a time, then based on the time actually we can specify the things over here. So that we will do. And then finally I just use the state change, so that once I get and update this hotel list, so automatically get state change and update this property, and this property will be binding over here. So that is done. Now I have to create a one life cycle hook method of this component, so that whatever this method, right? So this is that main method we have to bind the data. So that method actually I have to call on this life cycle hook. So what I need to do, simply override and create an on initialize method. This is a initialize method. Let me quickly remove this guy, we don't require. And simply call this guy over here as a await, and then use that method and simply just define over here. So that is done for implementation. So now we are good to go to use this component in our all that platform, like for Android and all, right? So this shareable component I just create inside this shared, so that I can use this Blazor web application, as well as that all that platform, like for example Android, iOS, Mac, Tizen and Windows, right? So that I have to use. So how we can do that? There is a one issue actually. As of now, see, I'll just trying to run. I'll show you what will happen if I try to run. So yeah, so before run I have to just use this route in our application. So first I will just try with this hybrid one. Go to that components and layouts, and there is a nav button, so I have to just specify that nav menu. So let me quickly copy, as like we have done for block blog list. So similar I will do over here hotel list, and this could be as a hotel list, right? So this is done, and now let me run it and show you what will be happen if only just using the shareable component, implement the shareable component, but nothing have to do. So what will happen? So we'll get that error and we'll fix it. Now see, it is running perfectly, there's no issue. Whatever that another share component block list, this is running perfectly fine. But once I click this guy, so see, I'm getting that error. So what is that error actually? So in this window application I am not able to show you the error, but yeah, I'll show you error in uh in that web application, so that we can see what would be happen. So similar things actually we have to do for that web application. Go to that web application component, go to that pages, not pages, go to that layout navigation, and here again just copy this guy, right, in this nav menu for this web application. And here I just simply hotel list, and also this is a hotel list. So save it and quickly change the web application and run it. Now see, while you're running, okay, so it is saying already is running, use this IP address, right? So I think previously once we start the demo, so something is running. So let me quickly close all that console application and then run. Yeah, now it's running. And if I click that blog list, it is working fine. There's no issue. But once I click that hotel, I'm getting error. So what is that error? Click F12 and go to that console, and it is saying, see, it is not giving correct details, right? So it is saying something, details error in the app setting development.json and file, right? So something in a issue, but it is not giving any details, so that is fine. But I know what is that issue, why it is issue. Okay, so let me show you what is the issue. So what happened, see, I just use in this shared library, this is shared library, right? So let me expand and just stop that. So in this shared library, if you go to that, yeah, this is the shared library, and go to that hotel list, right? So in this hotel list, what we have do, we just inject this client, right, Firebase client, but we have to use this client directly, but we have to not resolve the dependency, right? So whatever actually service or things we have to use, so that we have to resolve, so that resolve part is pending. So how we can resolve it is easy. If you see my previous video to connectivity the Firebase with the .NET MAUI, so you will get that some idea. So what you need to do for this .NET for MAUI, for example, that uh, Android, iOS and Mac one. So in this project, what you need to do, go to that this guy MAUI.program.cs file and scroll down. So there's a section here like the builder service section. So you have to just register that Firebase client over here. So builder dot service dot add singleton. So in this singleton, what I have to do, just create that instance of that class, right, Firebase client. So Firebase client, and in this Firebase client actually required to base URL, means how that client actually will connect your Firebase DB. So that base URL they have to record. So what is my base URL? My base URL is this. If you go back to here, so this is your base URL. Once you create a real-time DB, so this is that base URL. Let me copy this guy over here and put it over here. So that is done, and then terminate over here. So that is done. So this configuration required for both project. For example, this is I have done for this Blazor hybrid one, and same things we have to do. Let me just copy this guy, because both project actually using the same library, right? So both place you have to just resolve the dependency inside this program.cs file, because web project has that program.cs file. And here in this in the top, like see builder.service, in here you have to just edit same things over here as well. Okay, one thing actually I just missed over here, see, I just use try service.triad, so we don't record this triad, but yeah, it is a safer side. But yeah, as of now I don't record. So what I will do, I will just remove simply, and same thing I will remove from my that hybrid application or hybrid project as well. So let me remove this guy. Okay, so simply we have to use that add singleton. Okay, so once you're done, now let me run this for the first window application. So choose that Blazor hybrid app demo and choose that window platform. Click on that. So it is running, see, it is running, and once I click that hotel list, it is trying to load. Once I load, see, once I load, data is loading, right? So I just use same image, so that's why it's loading image. And we have to do some style, but yeah, but data is coming over here, see, all the data is coming, but only just design issue. So let me quickly fix that design. So for design fixing, what I need to do, I just have to go to that class library, and this hotel list razor, I have to just specify some style. So let me quickly create another component, that is a CSS component, and in the CSS component I have to use that same name, whatever the name, right? So let me add my name, hotel list dot razor dot css file. So quickly add this guy, and here I have to add some style, so which we have already, we have we are not going to do again, which I just have to done for my previous session as well. So this is my simple list design. So what would be my TRTD design, and what is my card image design, right? So what is that container image, means how actually that small that image to visible in our application, right? So that actually we just covered, so that is fine. That is just simple a design perspective. So what I will do, simply again let me run this application for window app. So it is running, and click on the total list. Now I'm getting that proper result, right? So this is fine, whatever that now have a data with this description, and there is a button as well, right? So once I click this guy, see, once I click this guy, edit click done, delete click done. So that is also working fine. So this is fine. And also let me check for that so like quickly just stop that, and let me check for that Android as well. So click on that, choose that Android, and run this application. Now it's deployed, now it's running, and simply just choose your hotel list. Now see, I'm getting that same view, same component, but it is a different view, right? Because it is a mobile, so that's why that quickgrid actually very flexible to render the data based on that, responsive screen. So this is fine also. So once I click this guy, see, is button also is working. There's a no issue. So let me check the web as well. So quickly change to that to web application and run this application. Now it's running, click on the total list. Now it looks good, all the data is over here. So as of now we will not have any programmatically to add and insert and delete as well. But yeah, what I will do for that checking purpose, like if I delete some data, so that is getting over here, or just that data is getting over here, or just whatever data we have add, so that data also should be populated over here. So what I need to do for that, so manual I have to just add it over here. So before edit, what I will do, simply I just delete one data over here. So let me quickly delete one row. There's a three hotels, right? So one hotels I just remove it and go back to over here. Just click that and go back to again that hotel list. Now you're able to see this two data is over there, right? Which is coming from there. Same things we can check from that Android as well. So let me just refresh. There is a should mechanism, actually we have to put it over here, like refresh. So once I click that refresh, you will get that actual data. Now see, I'm getting the data over here, as well as I can check for that Android as window application as well. So let me quickly run for Windows as well, because yeah, so let me run this window one. So this is also running. So this guy, this is Android, and this is web, right? So let me check for an Windows one. Click on the hotel list. It should be get two hotels only. Now see, two hotels in the window, two hotels for here, and two hotels for Android as well. So that means it is perfectly working fine. It is getting the data from that my DB. And let me quickly add one more row manually and see in action. So how we can add it? So simply I can just add in this add button. I can just add it and just asking actually the key. So what will be my key? My key this, and randomly key, for example this, and then add. And then inside this add, we see this is that key, and then you have to get all that value, right? So for example description. So let me copy that key is a description. This is my description, and value would be, for example, it should be a 3 star, and rating would be out of 5 it is 4, right? And then I have to just add one more row, not row, but yeah, I have to just add. Now see, this one has been created, right? So it have only description. Now I have to just add uh that another key, right? For example, that image URL and name, right? So let me quickly copy that key and add from here as a key. And name would be, for example, Paradise Hotel. And yeah, that is fine. And then I just add over here. So see, description and name got added over here. And now let me add one more property that is called image URL, right? So let me quickly add this guy over here using this plus button. Key is this, and value would be this guy. So let me quickly copy this URL and paste it over here. Okay, so I missed something, so let me quickly copy over here and add it in this value. So that is done, and finally add it. So now we have that property, description and name, right? So this data should come in our application. So go back to application. So this is that window application. So let me quickly refresh again. Now see, this third hotel also appearing, Paradise, which we just added over here, right? This is that Paradise Hotel. And similar we can check for now web application. So let me quickly refresh. Now the last one, this is our new one, actually Paradise. And let me check for Android as well. So quickly go back to home and change to that hotel list. Now perfectly fine. That means whatever data is just adding in our Firebase DB, we are getting from that our application. So that is the beauty actually. We can use this hybrid .NET MAUI hybrid app and create a one component and share this component across that all the platform. And easily we can integrate this Firebase DB as well. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.